Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome from myself, Brian.
Hi guys, Brian.
And so today I thought we'd be talking about a very controversial subject, something that, there's a lot of mixed opinions about this on both sides of the scale. So let's get into it. Yeah, guys, as mentioned, a very controversial subject. Want to talk about the spider wobble. And when I say spider wobble, I have this urge to actually just refer to it as wobble. It's not necessarily only in the spiders that this neurological defect is a problem. I have seen it in spot nose, I've seen it in champagne, and I've seen it in warmer as well. Not as severe and not as common. However, with me today, I have my little baby boy, Kevin here. He is just a normal spider. Kevin does not have too much of a wobble. He actually has a very, very light wobble. As you can see, if I hold him in the air, he does have a bit of the shakes, as with the wobbling, but he's not corkscrewing, as a lot of the exaggerated videos out there show. As soon as he's down, the shakes stop, and he gets along absolutely just fine. Little Kevin over here does have no problem eating. Does have no problem, really. Anyway, he has no problem eating. He has no problem with his strikes, the accuracy thereof either, and I'll explain to you guys in a minute how I managed to sort that out. There was a bit of a problem there prior. And then next to Kevin over here, you can see my bumblebee boy. His name is Bumblebee. He has a bit more severe case, so I thought I'd get them both out to show you guys the comparison. Bumblebee is obviously a pastel spider. He has a bit more of a severe case. He also had a bit more problems with the striking. But the controversy of this is, does it impact the animal? Do the animals suffer due to the spider morph? In my opinion and my experience, no. I don't think they suffer. They, I won't say, are more work than any of my other ball pythons. Yes, I would say there's a bit more care that needs to be taken with them. Kevin, as you can see, is perfectly fine even in the air. There are some traits, the shaking. You can see with a bumblebee having a look at me over here now, the head is tilted just slightly off center. That is another wobble trait. As he's lying over here, he's also perfectly fine. He's normally perfectly fine on the ground as well. If I pick him up, which I'll do in a second, you'll see there's just a little bit more wobble to him than there is to Kevin over here. The wobble is unfortunately a gene, or how can I say, a trait of the gene. The same gene that codes for the spider morph also codes for the wobble, so you're not going to get one without the other. And unfortunately, oh, there we go, so the head just cocked off center. There's some of the wobble. Unfortunately, they do have a bit of trouble initially, especially as hatchlings, with striking accuracy and feeding. Now, I've sorted that out in the sense of, with them, their heat pits count in our favor. Both of them have missed striking for their feeder rodent. And then I switched over to feeding them live. Reason for that being, frozen thawed, you can heat up to a certain extent. Of course, that's safe for your animal to consume. However, the frozen thawed rodent will still emit less heat than what my hand will. I am a very hands-on hobbyist, if I can put it that way. So I do like to feed my animals by hand. I very seldomly use a tongs or something to that effect. I know my animals, I know their temperament, I know their body language. They have missed, and they don't miss completely. They strike past the feeder rodent and bite my hand. And that is where I got the idea of feeding live. So I tried to feed live. The accuracy was way better. Not once did they miss, not once did they overshoot and hit me. And yes, I did that for a while just to experiment, if I can put it that way. And now they are on freshly killed. And when I mean freshly killed, for the two spiders specifically, I mean very freshly killed. The heat pits that help them zero in on their target counts in their favor and in our favor as well for the spider, in the sense of their wobble. That makes it a bit difficult for them, I presume, to focus. So yes, guys, as I've said, there's a lot of controversy on this. There is people who want to ban spiders. There are people that don't believe you should be breeding spiders. And on the other side of the coin, there are people who love spiders. There are people who still continue to breed them. And I'm going to rephrase it. I'm going to say selectively breed them. Kevin over here, for instance, I might consider breeding him when he's older, when he's breeding ready. He has a very, very minor wobble. I know of other breeders who also selectively breed their spiders, using spiders with a very minor wobble. And of the clutch, I'd like to say most of them have that very minor wobble as well to them. However, with Bumblebee here, my animal is a bit stressed out now. He's not used to being in front of the camera, so he's a bit shy. He's a bit stressed out, so his wobble's going to be a bit more pronounced, if I can put it that way. Which leads me to another point. There's opinions out there that you can have a baby spider like this that has very little wobble, and then all of a sudden one day they start corkscrewing around and the wobble is just absolutely severe and crazy. I don't think that to be the case. And guys, please, I'm not trying to provoke anybody. I'm not trying to downplay anyone's opinions over here. This is my opinion and only my opinion based on my personal experience with my animals. I'm not saying your opinion doesn't count. I'm not saying my opinion's better. This is merely out of my experience with my animals. Stress, I believe, does have a huge impact in the severity of the wobble. Kevin is much more used to being handled than what Bumblebee is here. And as you can see, he's not stressed out. He's just chilling, cruising, and the wobble is very, very little. I have seen when I clean enclosures and I take him out and I put him in a tote or a tub just for those couple of minutes that I'm cleaning the enclosure. If one of my dogs should come running by or something like that, he doesn't get a fright that he jerks, but he does seem to get a bit more stressed out, which then the wobble will also increase in severity. So I'm going to try and hand him over to Brady so that I can get a hold of Bumblebee here. Bumblebee has a bit more of a severe wobble to him. He is not used to being handled as often. He is actually a very chill, laid-back sweetheart of a snake. I do love him very much. My son handles him, I wouldn't say regularly, but he gets taken out, and we do spend a lot of time with him. I just do not handle him as much as I would, for instance, handle Kevin here, which is one of my show animals. So, guys, I'm going to try and show you the difference over here if he will allow me to. I don't want to stress him out too much. Okay, so guys, Bumblebee over here is a bit stressed out. He's not liking these lights and all the attention right now. As mentioned, he has a bit more of a severe wobble. It's not the corkscrew effect. It's not that he totally just bellies up. He does tend, in his enclosure, to climb the walls, and where a normal ball python would hit the roof and then turn down, he just carries on upside down kind of effect. But it's not that whole crazy corkscrew effect. In all honesty, I don't think I've ever really seen that personally, real life, um, that severe. I know it is a real thing. I know it is a issue. Um, but is it necessary to absolutely ban one morph or to stop breeding them due to that? Every animal has issues to a certain extent. So, guys, what I'm trying to get at over here is if you just spend a little bit more time, put in, I won't even say you have to put in a bit more effort. I mean, your housing requirements for this snake compared to a normal ball python or a Mojave or a desert ghost, orange dream, banana, pastel, whatever. The housing requirements for that is identical. The only place that I tend to put in a little bit more effort with my spider morphs is when it comes to feeding. As I said, I give them freshly killed or live. I prefer freshly killed, obviously, for the safety of my own animal. I have no problem feeding live. I just don't think it's as safe as freshly killed. And there's no problems. They strike correctly, they feed properly. I mean, you can see Bumblebee over here is healthy. He doesn't have a spine protruding. He's not overweight. He's healthy. And now that he's chilling out a bit and relaxing a bit, I can try and show you his wobble, which is a bit more severe, especially if I extend him in the air. Bumblebee has just decided, bugger your video today, this is not happening. However, I'm not forcing my opinion down on you guys. I'm not downplaying your opinions. I love a spider. It's something different, the reduced pattern, the shape of it, the beauty that it gives with a lot of morphs is unique in a lot of sense. I am not going to stop breeding them. I am open, absolutely, to a respectful conversation regarding this. And yes, I'm not going to say I'm hellbent on that it's good or bad to breed them. I'm just open for it, especially with Kevin over there that has much less of a wobble. I do know that breeding spider to spider is in, well, every single case that I know of, lethal. The spider gene is an incomplete dominant gene, which means you only need one copy of that gene for 50% or whatever of your clutch to have the spider. I don't think I know of any successful super spider, spider to spider, that has actually survived more than a few days. And I'm quite certain that there are none of them that have ever made it to adolescence. These guys can survive in the wild. I believe that the spider morph is one of the first morphs in the States, for that matter. I also know that the first spider brought in from the wild was an adult, which proves they can live absolutely just fine. It does not affect their quality of life to the extent that these animals should be culled or banned or not bred with. I just think if we as owners and we as breeders do that little extra step and do selective breeding with them, to reduce the wobble as much as possible, I don't think it's necessary to go all the way out. It is, in my opinion, your own opinion, whether you would want to breed with these guys or not, or even own them or not. I absolutely love spiders. They're very unique to me. It just absolutely depends on your own preference. There are good arguments on either side of the wobble, arguments that I am not closed off to, arguments that I have no problem having a respectful discussion about. As I said, I'm not downplaying anyone's opinion, and I'm not going to force mine down on anyone else either. This is purely just my opinion out of my personal experience. So guys, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please feel free to comment down below. If you like the content of this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care, keep safe, and live your passion.